Hello guys and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be testing Radeon RX 6600 GPU in Assassin's Creed Mirage. This game just launched an hour back and right now I'm testing it. I'm going to be using Ryzen 5 3600 with 16 gigabytes of DDR4 memory that is clocked to 3200 MHz, and everything is on stock clock. With RX 6600 is also on stock. As you can see on the upper left corner, everything is there. And right now let me just show you the graphics settings which you're using. And we're using right now full screen mode, 1080p, 144 Hz, resolution scale is at 100%, VSync is turned off, graphics settings is ultra high, and I've just disabled every kind of upscaling and sharpening for that. Alright, so alright, let's get right into the game and start counting the FPS. As you can see right there, we're getting amazing performance in this game, guys. It's above 60 FPS beforehand, and the game stutters very little. There is no to zero stuttering in the game, and it looks amazing too. So this is how you optimize a game, in my opinion. It looks amazing and also it runs very well. Just a minute back we started a mission, and right now we're in night time, and we're gonna see the performances. It looks the same or a little bit lower than the daytime. As you can see, we're infiltrating a place right now, and we're getting like 5 to 6 FPS lesser than before. So at night time the game has become more intensive, or there is a lot of, I think, grass and stuff. That's why the game is a little bit more intensive. But nonetheless, we're gonna be checking out. Let's turn on Eagle Vision, and as you can see right here, we have to try to get into the palace. And 66, 67, 62 FPS average. That's very good performance, guys, coming from this GPU. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead straight forward in the settings, and I am going to enable some FSR2. This game has FSR2, XeSS, and TAA. So I'm going to be enabling FSR2, and I'm going to first check in a native what happens, and I'm going to turn on sharpen strength for this, and let's head right on. Alright, let's just go ahead and start counting the FPS. Alright, so with native FSR2 there is not much of a difference in performance. Previously we were getting like 62 FPS average, now we're getting like 61, and that's not made much of a difference. Why is she beating the clothes? Wow. Okay, maybe she's mad at him. Alright, so we are getting 61 FPS average. That's the same as before, but the game is a little bit sharper, I think. With FSR2 on native, it's just doing some anti-aliasing, you could say, and improving the quality of sharpening. Alright, so let me just go ahead now and change this to quality. Let's apply this, and let's start counting the FPS again. Alright, so with FSR2 now on quality, we're getting more performance, so that's amazing. We're getting like 80 FPS average. I think this game will be able to run this game at 1440p. We'll be testing out in a while, because this is ultra settings right now. Everything is as maxed as it could go. We're gonna check if it runs on 1440p amazingly or not. Alright guys, so we are now running from the enemies, and we just did something I skipped. Yeah, so there was an explosion right there. It caused a little bit of a stutter. So my first stutter in this game, now second one. So it looks like the game is loading data somehow, and that's why it's kind of like a little bit stuttering. But it's nonetheless good. It's not that bad. There were just 2 stutters in the game. We're using FSR2 right now, and now as you can see the FPS, we're getting like 78 FPS average. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to settings, and I'm going to change the FSR2 quality to balanced, because many of you guys in my videos actually ask me that why don't I test balanced and performance FSR. So I'm going to do that in this video, and let's start counting the FPS. And as you can see right there, we are getting like 92 FPS average on balanced FSR2. Alright, let's run away. I think we're out of sight. This game has kind of somewhat similar, like you could say, parkour to Unity Or does it? Let me just check if we have similar to it or not. He's definitely faster than Valhalla, but I don't know if it's similar to Unity or not. Alright guys, so on balanced FSR we were getting like 92 FPS or average, but after the cutscene it just frame rate just increased because it was actually more the performance was greater in the cutscene, so we are not going to count that. We got like 92 FPS average when we were using balanced FSR 2 on 1080p ultra settings. Alright guys, so I'm back and we're at 4040p resolution, and I've just restarted the game. Previously I didn't restart the game, so the game was running really bad, so I just restarted it, and right now we're getting like 58 FPS. So let's start counting the FPS again, and as you can see 62 FPS on 1440p resolution. Let me just check it again. Yeah, 1440p resolution and 100% resolution scaling. Graphics are ultra high, maxed out, alright, with no FSR2. Okay. So let's just get ahead and start to move into the city. Or, yeah, into the city. Let's just try to move into the city and see if we could get a better idea of how the game is actually performing on this resolution.
2,000 years later.
Alright guys, so we just played that sequence, and afterwards we are in a new area. This is kind of looking more intensive than the previous one, and we're getting lower FPS also. We're gonna start counting the FPS here, and as you can see on 1440p ultra settings, we're getting like 47, 48 FPS average, sometimes in the higher 40s and sometimes in the 50s. Also, when you're not looking anywhere, you get higher FPS like 70 FPS, but looking at the vegetation and everything, you get lower FPS. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to go ahead and enable FSR2 again, and we're going to be using FSR2 on quality and sharpening started on 60%, and we're going to apply this, and afterwards let's see how the game performs. Alright, so from 40 higher 40s we're getting like 60 FPS while looking at the vegetation and everything. So we're getting like 50 FPS average now. Let's just keep on moving in this area, because as soon as we reach that area, she's gonna start talking to us, and we don't want that. Alright, 59 FPS average. Yeah, so you guys get an idea. I think on 1440p FSR2 is also playable. Like 60 FPS is very good frame rate for this game, and it's very playable. On FSR2 when on quality it was like giving 80 FPS while on 1080p, and now it's giving like 60 FPS FSR2, and FSR2 does look amazing in this game. I think it doesn't look that bad. Previously with other games like Star Wars and everything, there is a lot of basically saying the FSR2 implementation in those games is not very good. So in this game I could see that FSR2 is looking amazing. Yeah, so a very good implementation, I think. Yeah, so now I think we need to go ahead and enable FSR2 on balanced, and now balanced FSR2 with the same graphical settings, and now let's start counting the FPS. 1440p balanced FSR2, and this also looks amazing. This doesn't look bad either. Yeah, so we got like 5 to 6 FPS more in this area. This area is more intensive than the previous one because there is a lot of vegetation and everything here. So yeah, 65 FPS average. My god, the performance is amazing. So at least one of the titles in 2023 is performing amazing, even though this title is using a previous gen engine, which is the Anvil engine. Ubisoft has not updated it right now for newer games. They're not using any new bells and whistles like ray tracing and everything, but still it's looking amazing. This game looks very good. So now what we're gonna do is I'm going to go to 4K now, and I'll be right back with you. Alright guys, so we are back, and now we're at 4K resolution, as you can see in the graphical settings. Here you go, 4K resolution, and refresh rate is 144Hz, the same, 100% resolution scaling, graphics are the same, ultra high, and we're using TAA and no upscaling. Alright, so let's just see the FPS, and as you can see, let's start counting the FPS again. As you can see, now we're getting into territory where you have to lower the graphical options, or you have to use FSR2 or something. So what I'm going to do is now first let's just make a run through here so we get a balance of anything. Alright, 22 FPS average. Keep on running. Keep on looking at different areas so we get a better view. Alright. Why can't he climb up here? Alright, so like 23 FPS average. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply go ahead and enable FSR2. If this actually gets solved by FSR2 only, then we are not going to need any kind of graphical options decrease. Otherwise, we have to decrease graphical options. Alright, so this is a sizable improvement. As you can see, 38 FPS average with FSR2 on quality on 4K resolution and ultra high graphics options. Yeah, so this is amazing performance, guys. 36 FPS average. We are dropping into the higher 30s, but it's still very playable. If you lock down the FPS at this resolution at 4K and FSR2 on quality, it looks amazing, very sharp, crisp and amazing, and still performs like 30 FPS. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to decrease the FSR2 to balanced. Let's apply this and come back. Now let's start counting the FPS again. Alright, so we got like 41. Now we're getting like 40 FPS average. Yeah, 38 currently. We were getting like lower 30s. Now we're getting higher 30s in this area. 40 FPS average, 39. Yeah, so we got a sizable improvement now. Let's just get on ahead and let me just go ahead and turn it to performance now. Performance FSR2 on 4K, guys, and now we're at 55. This also looks amazing. This doesn't look blurry at all. It looks a little bit not sharper, I would say, but still very good. Amazing, guys. This is the kind of implementation we want, actually. There is some ghosting in his legs now, but it's still manageable. It's not very bad. Alright, 49, 48 FPS average with 4K performance FSR2. Alright, guys, so I think now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower down settings to very high, and I'm going to disable FSR2 first. Alright, guys, we are back and we are using still 4K resolution in very high settings. As you can see, we selected very high preset, and I've just turned off these settings, and TA is on native and sharpening is turned off. Alright, so as you can see right here, we're gonna just start counting the FPS. We're getting like 26, 23, 22, so not much of an improvement from ultra high settings to very high. It's still the same, but as soon as this we get through here, we're gonna enable FSR2 again. FSR2 on quality, and sharpening is at 60%. Alright, so as you can see right here, let's start counting the FPS again. We're getting a 36 FPS average. And that's amazing. We got a sizable bump in performance, and we're getting like 38, 37 FPS, 36 FPS. Yeah, it's the same. So on 4K, if you want to play on these very high settings or ultra high settings, you have to use FSR2 on quality and lock it down to 30 FPS if you're okay with that. Otherwise, you have to use balanced or performance FSR2, which I'm going to enable now. Balanced FSR2. Now let's start counting the FPS again. We're at 40 FPS now. Yeah, so I think it's kind of the same story as compared to the ultra high settings. It's kind of the same story, not much of a difference between ultra high and very high settings. Alright, 40 FPS average now. Let's go ahead and change it to balanced to performance. And let's start counting the FPS again. And performance FSR2 again, we're getting like 48 FPS, 49, 50 FPS average. In the same area, guys, we're using the same area for this benchmark because we want to have consistent performance now. So yeah, 51 FPS average, and this area looks very interesting, and it's very intensive also. Yeah, 50 FPS average in performance FSR2 on 4K resolution, very high settings. Alright, guys, I'm back, and now we're at 4K resolution with the resolution scaling 100%, and we're using medium preset. I've just disabled depth of field, motion blur, adaptive quality, and TAA native is on. Alright, so let's just go to the game, back to the game, and let's start counting the FPS. So on native 4K there is not much of a difference. As you can see, again we're getting like 25-24 FPS. So this seems to me like at 4K resolution this game becomes very resolution bound or memory bound somehow, because we are not using like more than 6 gigabytes of VRAM right now, but still the game is not improving that much while lowering down the settings. So what I'm going to do now is, as we're not getting better performance, you have to simply go ahead in the options and you have to use FSR2 on quality, and let's just enable sharpening. So quality FSR2 on medium preset gives you sizable bump in performance, like 44-43 FPS. Previously we were above 32 FPS when we were on ultra quality settings. Now when we enabled very high, we went to like 35 FPS average with quality FSR2. Now we're at 41 with medium settings. Alright, so this is very playable. 42 FPS average, and you guys get an idea. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to enable balanced FSR2 on 4K with medium preset. Alright, let's just start counting the FPS again. We're getting like 48 now. So you see, yeah guys, it's the same story. If you want to play on 4K resolution, you have to enable FSR2 on balance somehow, and then you can play it on a playable frame rate. This game is very playable, about 40 I would say, so it's not an issue. Right now the game is performing very well. Alright, so I think guys that does this for today's video. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comment section below. I will be sure to answer that, and be sure to leave a like on this video. These videos take a long time to make, and I hope you subscribe to the channel. Many of you guys who are not subscribed, and I would really encourage you guys to subscribe to the channel, because many new games are coming and we're gonna make content regarding that. And peace out guys, I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.